The drill field was alive with tension, every movement amplified under the harsh desert sun. Commander Lucas Vaughn moved with smooth precision, demonstrating the drill with the confidence of someone who had trained countless soldiers before. His uniform was pristine, his stance perfect, and the recruits watched, some with awe, others with barely concealed envy. Among them, Lieutenant Maya Rivers adjusted her gloves, feeling the familiar weight of doubt tug at her shoulders. She had trained harder than anyone here, endured missions that tested the limits of her body and mind, yet here she stood, seconds behind a commander who, by every measure, seemed untouchable. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're re-watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The commander's movements were crisp, his form impeccable. Every step he took, every command he gave, radiated authority. Maya's mind raced not with fear, but with quiet determination. She had studied his patterns, memorized the sequences, and trained for this exact moment. Sweat prickled at her brow, not from exertion, but from anticipation. Dust swirled at her boots as the wind whispered across the field, carrying murmurs of the watching recruits. Some cheered silently, others doubted quietly, all unaware of the storm about to unfold. As Lucas completed the final maneuver, the troops erupted in polite applause, clearly impressed. Maya's chest rose and fell steadily. She refused to let intimidation shake her. Her fingers flexed, muscles coiling like springs ready to release. She remembered the nights spent running drills until her legs screamed. The missions where hesitation had no place, the countless times she had risen from doubt and fear to stand taller than anyone thought possible. Then she moved. The field seemed to shrink as Maya executed the drill. Every motion faster, sharper, and more precise than the commander's demonstration. Dust rose under her boots, catching the sunlight like a halo around her focused form. Recruits watched with wide eyes, whispers trailing behind her every movement. "She really doing this?" one asked. "She's faster than him," another muttered. Lucas's brow furrowed. He had expected skill, he had trained for skill, but not this. Not the fluidity, the power, the near-perfect execution she displayed under pressure. His own movements faltered slightly, the demonstration now eclipsed by the prodigious performance of his trainee. The murmurs grew into audible gasps as Maya completed the sequence flawlessly. Landing in a precise stance just 5 seconds after Lucas had finished hand somehow, it looked effortless. The field fell silent, the kind of silence that makes hearts pound and breaths catch. Even the wind seemed to pause, swirling dust in suspended arcs around the astonished troops. Lucas turned, eyes meeting Maya's. There was a flicker in his gaze, a mix of respect, surprise, and something almost like awe. The very commander who had dominated the drill minutes earlier now found himself witnessing the undeniable mastery of someone he had underestimated. Maya's chest rose and fell steadily. She hadn't moved to overshadow or humiliate. She had moved to prove what experience, discipline, and quiet determination could achieve. Every recruit, every officer, every whispering skeptic now had to confront the truth. Skill and courage cannot be bound by rank, by expectation, or by preconceived notions of who should lead. Lucas stepped forward, slow and deliberate, and for a heartbeat, the field held its collective breath. Then he did something remarkable. He extended his hand toward Maya, first in a gesture of acknowledgement, and then, with a slight bow of his head, saluted her. The salute reverberated across the drill field, punctuated by the muted applause of the recruits. Whispers turned to murmurs of admiration. Skepticism had dissolved into respect. Maya allowed herself a faint smile, the kind born from validation that is earned, not given. The wind swept across the field, dust and light mingling in a golden haze, as if the very environment had paused to honor the moment. Her triumph wasn't about beating a commander, it was about proving, in a world that often underestimates, that persistence, skill, and courage shine brightest when least expected. The other recruits began to approach, some with shy admiration, others with hesitant congratulations. Lucas's salute lingered a moment longer before he turned, silently acknowledging that today, the lesson had been learned not about rank or authority, but about respect earned through action. Maya's heart swelled, not with pride, but with quiet fulfillment. Every drop of sweat, every late-night drill, every ounce of doubt she had conquered culminated here, in this suspended, breathtaking moment of validation. Because courage is not loud. It does not demand attention. It waits, patient, enduring, and then reveals itself with clarity when the world least expects it. Maya had done exactly that, and in doing so, changed the perception of every recruit, every officer, and even the commander who had once seemed untouchable. The sun began to dip behind the horizon, casting long shadows across the drill field. Dust motes danced in the amber light as Maya adjusted her uniform, carrying herself with the quiet authority that comes from mastery and experience. She had not just executed a drill, she had commanded respect, proven her worth, and reminded everyone present that true skill cannot be contained by assumptions or rank, because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. Maya Rivers had shown, in a single, breathtaking display, that courage, precision, and determination were equal opportunity virtues. And as the recruits filed off the field, their whispers now tinged with respect and awe, she allowed herself one reflective thought. Victory isn't measured by the clock, the applause, or the accolades. It is measured by the quiet, steadfast resolve to rise, to execute, and to be seen for the truth of what you can accomplish. If this story inspired you, leave your thoughts in the comments. And subscribe to Whispered Words for more cinematic mission stories that linger long after the video ends.